Boobs! Do I have your attention? Good. I hope that years of media conditioning to the power of the almighty Tata has given the first word enough power to draw you into my smooth and sultry voice. This review is going to be a little different than my others, if you couldn't tell already. The reason I started out with boobs is that the anime does too. A few seconds of uncensored jubblies in the first episode set the stage for the rest of the anime, and give you a sense of what you can expect as the plot progresses. A Japanese tourist is witness to the murder of a target from the international crime syndicate known as Inferno. I'm gonna let that name soak in a minute. Seriously, who names a crime organization, priding itself in its primary and untraceable assassin nicknamed Phantom, after one of the least covert things in the world? And Inferno is described as, quote, a large fire that is dangerously out of control, end quote. Inferno, as a name for a covert crime syndicate, is like naming a religion about peace and harmony, blood rage. I digress. The tourist is witness to the murder, and runs. He is eventually caught, but apparently it wasn't easy for Inferno to catch him. I bet all the light and heat makes it kind of hard to sneak up on someone. But they find him, and instead of killing him with their highly trained killer, they capture, drug, and train him to become the next unstoppable killing machine. Okay, this is one of my biggest complaints about the anime. One of three, actually. The first is obviously the name of, and the cartoonishly evil intentions and tactics of, the White Stripes cover band, Inferno. The second is that this organization spent all this time, money, and inherent risk in capturing, moving, and training up a literal no one into an assassin off of little more than the whims of someone given the occupational title of Scythe Master. Did I mention this place is cartoonishly evil? The third is that it's already ticking off cliches. The leader of the group is a posh, long-haired male that reminds me of Sephiroth. Then we have his immediate subordinate, who is a well-endowed blonde with enough cleavage to smuggle a skyscraper, and is contextually hinted at swinging both ways like a saloon door. That subordinate's bodyguard, an owner of the previously mentioned Jubblies, and an implied lesbian so far, has a not-so-subtle lengthy pause before she says a casually racist line. Now this anime was made in 2009, so it's not as pretty or polished as some of the other animes I have seen. Also, the dub isn't terrible, but I have heard far better. For its time, I would say that there are better voiced and animated shows, but this is certainly not the worst ever. Now I've been pretty down on this anime throughout the entire review, so let me stop here and say that I am enjoying it. The characters are a bit flat right now, and I can basically predict the assassins-turned-lovers ending coming from only episode 2, but that is a prediction, and not a guarantee. It just feels like that is the train that we hopped onto, and I would rather not ride it. If you've seen my other reviews, then you know I hate fanservice for fanservice sake, and that I wish women's clothing wasn't so obviously pandering. With that said, other than Phantom's obvious fetish dress, by her puppeteer and Scythe Master that clearly has ulterior motives, most of the women in the show dress sensibly and don't randomly strip. Except for Phantom. And that was once on command. And twice because she was changing. Let's address the main characters for a minute here. Phantom, also known as Ein, German for one, is the first assassin. Clever name, right? Well, the tourist is named Zwei, which is German for two. It is even called out in the anime, and hardly hard to figure out. So why do I like this? Ein's lineage isn't expressly stated yet, though she may be Chinese based on her shirt. Zwei is noted as being Japanese. Neither of them remember their real names, but they are clearly not German. This means that the people in charge took everything from them and remade them from the ground up. Names, skills, emotional states, clothing, etc. They took away their names for crap's sake, and this is why I'm enjoying this anime. These characters are top-tier assassins, or training to be. They are not magically or cybernetically enhanced. They are simply well-trained shells of human beings, ordered to kill or die. Their guns are not mystically better in any way, they are simply used better. There was a bit in episode 2 where Zwei used a jump that suggested magical abilities, but I doubt that's where they're going with this. To wrap this up, this anime hasn't aged that great, but it seems solid enough so far. The violence is more implied than gratuitous, and there's swearing and nudity, so not for kids. All in all, you could certainly do worse for an assassin anime.